I was always fascinated by comedy, and it's very strange when I look back on it. I can actually remember being ill in bed when I was 12 and using a school exercise book to write a script for two radio comics whom I used to listen to at that time. And when I was at Clifton, we used to have this little blue book with all the information in. And every time I heard a good joke, I used to write it, on the white bits that didn't have print on. So there was something odd going on. And when I watched comedy, I used to watch an enormous number of American sitcoms in the mid-50s, like George Burns and Gracie Allen, Jack Benny, Phil Silvers, Amos and Andy, Joan Davis. A lot of them were American, the majority. I realize in retrospect it was almost as though I was studying them or trying to understand what was going on in some way. I was obsessional about the Goon Show. And when I was at Clifton, I did a couple of entertainments. That is to say, I did kind of sketches. So there was something going on. But the whole point was, if you came from Weston-super-Mare, you didn't go into show business. You became an accountant or a lawyer or possibly sold insurance. I mean, there were no other possibilities. So although I'd done some entertainments at school and I'd done sketches in front of audiences and quite enjoyed it, although I was terribly scared in terms of stage fright, I got to Cambridge and I got into the Footlights completely by accident, but found I could make people laugh. But I had no intention still of going into show business because in those days, 62, 63, people from Cambridge didn't think of doing it. Within 3 years, all the people who went to Cambridge were practically planning to go into show business if they had those kind of talents. And what happened was I did the Footlights show, which was a kind of, like in America, the Hasty Pudding show at Harvard, a review show lasting 2 hours. And I did that in 62, and I thought it was terribly good, which it wasn't, but I thought it was terribly good. So in 63, I very nearly didn't do the show, especially because I hadn't done much work that year, and I thought I might fail the exams. But I did it in the end. And to my surprise, one day, after I got off stage and went up to the Footlights Club room to have a drink, there were two very nice men in dark suits who said, "How would you like to come and work for the BBC as a writer and a producer?" Because they'd noticed that I'd written the material. Interesting. Not the performer side, but the writing side. And I said, well, why not? And I thought about it. I could sell it to my parents because it was the BBC. So there was a pension plan. It was like joining the civil service. And from a money point of view, they were offering me £30 a week. And if I had gone into the law, which is what I was studying at Cambridge, I'd have got £12 a week. And I wasn't very attached to the law, so I was out of there.